My name is Anshul Chauhan. I'm a writer, director of Kontora. Kontora is inspired by the stories told to me by my grandmother when I was little, and that's what really inspired me to write the story and make this film. We shot this film in 2018, November and December. At that time, I used to work in animation industry, and I took 10 days off to shoot this film. So yeah, this film was shot in 9 days with a very, very small crew. Yeah, so I want to talk a little bit about some behind the scenes.
今日も暮れゆく一国の丘に友よつらかろ切なかろ
Yeah, this is the opening scene of the film, and so grandfather taking out the box, and so yeah, now and we are shooting him, and he's actually not an actor. He's the owner of this house, and he was a local politician before, now retired, and so yeah, and this was our first day, first day of shoot, 26th of November, I think, yeah, 2018, and our first shot, trying to figure out how to make this film. I had no idea. So, but after this, we know, okay, this is gonna be like this. We just can do one take or two take maximum, and it will be long takes because we have only 9 days to shoot the whole film. This box as a prop, which I took a long time to find. Long time as in I struggled hard to find a box which looks like a military box. We ordered this from Osaka, and we found from some guy in Osaka this box. He had a box on eBay or somewhere, so we got it, and it was actually a military box. We were just following him basically, and I didn't even know where to hide the box, where to keep the box, and all those things. So he was the owner, so he was telling us, and also the music going on in the background, the whistlings and all. So after shooting the film, after 1 month of shooting the film, or I brought my music composer Yuma Koda, who used to work with Ryuichi Sakamoto before in New York, and it was his first feature film, Yuma Koda. So I took him to the village. I told him, okay, let's go together so that you can also get inspired. He was not there while the shooting, so I took him out, and we were recording sounds on the rivers here and there. And then I thought something is missing. I need something, so I started talking with the grandfather, who's who's playing this thing. So I started asking about his past and all. He used to say, yeah, I remember my friends going to the war and saying me goodbye. It was a very emotional time. He himself didn't go to the war, but he remembered the song at that time was going in the village. When people were leaving the village, the kids were singing some kind of songs and some kind of music. So I asked him to do that. He said, no, no way I'm going to do that. So I told him, okay, because he was shy basically. So so I left the recorder in the room, and I told him, okay, whatever comes in your mind, think about your friend and do it. He said, okay. So he said, I need some sake or something. So I guess he took some shots. We closed the room and left the recorder there, and yeah, then he starts singing and whistling and for a very long time, and I start crying and all that. So yeah, and after that he was like, yeah, he was pretty emotional. Yeah, so we got that first thing out for the film opening, because he opened up to us. And then of course these props I collected from internet here and there. It took me a long time, and this, it's not easy to find second world war props, especially if you don't have the kind of money which big studios have. So it took me a long time to score all these things, the goggles and these, and the helmet, the soft helmet I call it. And yeah, this diary, I don't know, I forgot where I found, but I weathered all those things. I dipped the diary, and in my balcony every day I was like sketching things, cutting, and I'm making the props. I did all the props, putting them in the coffee and tea, and making them look old. Every take was like 7, 8, 10, 15. We even went till 20-minute long takes, and maximum number of takes we had like 3, I guess. Yeah, 3 or 4, that's all. But usually like 90% of the film is single take. All the first takes have been used. My first film was Bad Boy Tokyo. It was for 4:3, film, and so I wanted to go really opposite of this. So I wanted to shoot CinemaScope this time, and also the beautiful village I wanted to really show. But me and Max were really talking about uh, the aesthetics of all the color grading and the texture of the film, and we did a test. I brought Max also. I think 2 weeks before the shoot, I brought him to the village, and we shot some videos there, and we came back and we did color grading tests, and he gave it both. Like he gave both black and white and color. But around that time, I was already sure in my head that I want to go towards black and white, just because just from the sales point of view, I understand many people are saying, no, you should do color, you can't sell your film and all. But then I thought I never thought about that anyway. I want to just make a very personal film. I might even end up uploading on YouTube. I don't care about all that kind of thing. So yeah, and also I was watching a lot of documentaries and pictures, diaries of. So a lot of black and white things were going on in my head, and so we have only one picture of our grandfather in my family album. Just one picture of him, and that is also black and white. And so I thought this is the right uh, way to go towards the aesthetics of this film, the to stay black and white. And I thought, I don't even want to see the color now on the monitor, because when you shoot you see the color. So we changed the whole process of shooting, and even my monitor, I never saw color after that. After we decided color, I stopped watching color movies, a picture, anything, just stayed black and white. It was black and white till I finished the edit, so that I just want to stay in that zone. On the set also, nobody saw color except the Max, I guess, when he was shooting. So yeah, it was all black and white. Yeah, which really made sense after shooting. Yeah. So I mean, the main reason why I wanted to make this film, I mean, I had many reasons basically, but one of the main reasons was my grandmother, who's still alive. She's 101 years old now, and in 2018 she was pretty sick, and I thought she might pass away this year, because just few years back, and now she's fine. But so I thought I have to do something. I have to dedicate something to her, because she used to tell me stories of my grandfather. My grandfather was, he passed away before I was born. So when I was born, and I became a little bit more, like maybe like 7 8 months, or about 1 year, and everybody thought that I was a rebirth of my grandfather. Of course, I don't remember that because I was too tiny. Uh, so there was a kind of a thing going on in the village, like, because whenever someone dies in my village, they put the ashes under a basket, and next day they open and they see some kind of sign comes in. So there was a footprint on that day. I know that's what the legend is there. So they thought I was a rebirth of my grandfather. So they only like realized it more stronger when I became a little bit more bigger, and which sometimes flashes comes in my head also, that I started behaving weirdly. And so my grandfather had a big box, really big body, big tin box, where all his clothings and leftover were stored. So I jumped in that one day, and his tobacco was there. He used to eat tobacco, this chewing tobacco. So I put in my mouth and I fainted, and also they took me to hospital. And so I started doing this kind of things, like I should take out my clothes and throw away unless they make a cutout of his clothes and make it smaller, and for to I mean so that it can fit me. So those kind of things I was doing, and he had this walking stick, and if somebody took it from me, I used to shout and cry and all. So they started thinking like something's wrong with me or something. So yeah, those kind of things were happening. So they started calling the police and started doing something on me, to take it off, so that I don't go crazy when I become older, I guess. So yeah, I felt always a special connection with my grandma in that way. And when she told me about the story of my grandfather bringing weapons and all the things, so it stuck with me. And then me going to the military first time, when I went to academy when I was 9 years old, and I had a rifle when I was 11 years old. every Wednesday we used to shoot 80 rounds. We were part of the training. I was so young. So all these things were getting in my head about holding a rifle as a kid and memories of my grandfather. So I wanted to create a character, and it was so hard for me to just say it. I cannot just say it. Okay, this is the story about this. So I was just watching these videos on YouTube, and randomly I found this guy a video about the guy walking backward, and it just didn't left my mind. It just was so strong. I just couldn't believe why is he walking backward. And I started messaging the guy on the channel, hey, where did you take the video? I started asking the question. They told me, oh, he still lives there. And in 2018, still lives there. He walks backward because his family died. He's a doctor. His family died in a car accident, and after that he walks around taking note of the car numbers, which because he's not mentally disturbed and he don't want to go in future. He want to stay back in memory, something like that. That's why something happened to his brain and he walked backwards, which I felt was a pretty interesting. So that's why I was started writing kind of romantic story long back, but then I changed everything to make this story. Yeah, so that was very like a deepest inspiration for me to dedicate it back to my grandfather, who I actually never met, who died a few days before me. And yeah, and I thought I have to create this film right now in 2018 because I felt my grandmother might pass away because she told me this story. And other ways, like I always see like high school movies in Japan where the schoolgirls are always having romance and all, like running around and all. So I wanted to take a young character and put them back in the past to understand the World War. So that was also one of the goal to make this film. So yeah, this all came together and it became a crazy mess in my head, and which is now the film is Kontora. Thank you everyone. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoy Kontora on SAKKA. Thank you.